what written here. I talk about a reinvention, that reinvention of me from the absolute rock bottom. Now a little bit of background. Who am I? Where am I coming from? Well, much like all of you, another student, but born to a set of 2 PhD professors. And when I say that, trust me, it wasn't fun. I used to have a PTM, a parents-teacher meeting every single day along, because my parents were the teachers I was living with. For the longest time, I remember all that I really cared about was academics, good grades, acing into every endeavor I took, being that topper you see there, going and grabbing the CBSE merit certificate. All you have heard of, I have played a role in trying to make sure I get that award, that trophy for my home. So do you relate with me? I'm sure you don't. I'm that first seat nerd, that we all really just scrap about. But imagine for a girl like her, who had been to more countries than her age, who has seen the best of everything, the abundance, the literacy, the power of knowledge, the power of network, the power of connections, to fail so miserably in 2021, in the same month that we are in right now. That one night showed me how little I was. How truly everything that used to matter slowly started completely to disappear in the endless sound of silence. And trust me, that sound of silence is something which is unfathomable. You can't get off it. I get the haunts, I get the chills even till date. I'm talking about none other but my superhero. For a girl, who's her superhero? Her own dad. My dad, an educationist, someone I lived by throughout my life. I needed one vial to save him, and the vial, the injection vial, a 280 rupees vial I needed to save my father, and trust me, with all my plight and might, I couldn't get my hands onto it. It was COVID. The resources became resourceless. We had nothing but absolute guilt, absolute plead, absolute greed, but we couldn't get our hands on what we needed. That night, I lost my superhero. But I found him within myself, or to rather put, I reinvented myself to take the legacy forward that he has been following. That's my journey. That's my very small story of how I started. Now let me show you something. All of us, we think life is meant to be fair. But my question is it meant to be fair, or is it ever going to be fair? Has it been fair with each one of you sitting here in this room? I'm sure it could be on a small part or a very big part, a small impact or a very big shocker, but it has never been fair. Life is meant to be unfair. I have accepted it. It's just about each one of you as well as each one of us to capitalize on every single moment as best, as absolutely brilliantly to our capabilities as we can. If you're waiting for everything to be perfect, if you're waiting for all the resources to turn in your favor, if you're waiting for all the guarantees to be made, if you're waiting for all the offer letters to be rolled away, keep waiting. This is not going to happen, at least not in this lifetime. Life is challenging and it is meant to be that way. Now when I say that I reinvented myself, this is a real story I ended up posting. Have you ever seen someone posting something like that? Well, I did. I wanted people to see what 2021 has ended for me, and an era that I'm going to begin to carry forward the legacy that I wanted to build, to take his idea forward, to educate everyone as much as I could with all the plight and means that I have. So there's a picture of me absolutely lying down, and that is on a ground below the hospital bed. I had nothing. I was done. That's the last picture with my dad. And imagine I couldn't touch him. I had a glove on. Those are the days. And that I promised to myself, having said a goodbye to 2021, asking it to never come back, not just for me, for everybody I can possibly think of or will ever think of. And that's the 2021 roundup that began. All that you see started to follow. Now let's talk about what changed. What change am I precisely talking about? What reinvention? So, well, the first and foremost thing I needed was to break through the fear of failure and to believe in myself. Seems very bougie, seems something which is very abstract. Everyone keeps talking about it, but what does it really mean? And I'm telling you today what it means. It just means get up and get started. Do whatever you can, however well or bad you can, in the best or worst of your capability. Just get started. That's how you believe in yourself. If you're waiting for a validation, trust me, from your parents, from your teachers, from your professors, from your well-wishers, from your friends, from the world, from the society, again, as I said, keep waiting. That might take you days, weeks, months, years, or your lifetime. And I'm sure you don't want to live a life that is below average, much like everybody else's. Rather, you would want to stand here one day and share your story with the world. If that is the case, get started. Believe in yourself. Escape the fear of failure, because I tell you, failure is unescapable. Failure is bound to happen. It might happen today. I'm giving a talk, and I was giving a talk, by the way, we'll see that story too. I broke my leg on this stage and I was down on the bed for 3 months. Failure can happen right now. What am I waiting for then? Why not to just get cracking onto everything and to achieve the best that I can dream of? And perhaps some things that I could have never thought or dreamt of. That's when I take you to the next slide. This is what has started to happen when I believed in myself. I was a very average engineer, passing out from what they deem as tier XYZ colleges, and I cared less about it. I cared about what I am speaking of right now, capitalizing on the opportunity. Joining Adobe, prior to that, having my own patent. Now, every one of us had got a major project. People wanted to choose the easy way around, make that A plus happen, take the gold medal, leave the college with a collar held up high. But unlike me, someone who wanted to be always around the corner, I picked up something that is as peculiar as it can sound. I picked up a project from a conversation with my father on the Google and the Amazon ads that you see online. It was a Diwali break. That's a fun story to cover. I was sitting with my dad, literally having dal chawal, and when he tells me, watching an Alexa ad on the TV, Priya, have you ever wondered, because he was an educationist, always thinking on the row? He told me, Priya, have you ever wondered how these technologies, Bixby, Siri, everything, Cortana, Alexa, is something that people can only access when they have voice, when they can give verbal commands. But what about the people who can't speak? What do they do in their lives? Is it their fault? When you were born, and he challenged me, imagine my father challenging me, when you were born, did you know that you would be born with the best of the capabilities, or you would be born with a Down syndrome, or you would be born with just one arm, or you would be born without a voice? Is it their fault? No, it isn't. But then why aren't we making things inclusive? If we cater to men, women, to X's, to Y's, to everybody, why not the people without a voice? They are much like us, and we have to cater to them. And there goes my project. I ended up making a telephone system, a virtual assistant, a web searching command line, all for deaf and mute. So they did their sign languages, and it absolutely responded as quick as it does for us. And that fetched me a patent from the government of India at the age of 21. So that's the power I'm talking about. If you are average, trust me, sorry if you don't like it, but that's because you settled to be average. Trust me, no one is pulling your leg until you are tying it up back with a table or a chair or with anything around, with people, with society. Break through everything, get started, don't have the fear of failure. We are anyways all a failure until we make that big hit success happen. So what are you afraid of? Get started, get onto it. Now, after believing in myself, I really wanted to go a step further and then deliver these talks. Why? To let you know that you are capable of reproducing all of that and maybe much, much more than I have done. So that's when I legitimately did all that I could, toured around all the university campuses across India and shared my learnings with students. And a lot of them connected it with us, a community of 250,000 people that we have by now. Everyone trying to strive to become the best version of themselves. And today I really want each one of you to join us as well. Now, what is that after believing in yourself is the next thing that you want to do? Well, you have to take that fire, that burning passion of yours and create something that serves a purpose. For me, in my life, the purpose has become to take the legacy of an educationist forward, to help facilitate the way forward for each and every student trying to make it to the best of the corporates, for each and every working professional trying to make it to the big five or big fours or the best of the Fortune 500s. For me, the mission, the passion, the ideology that I carry forward is to help you carve out the best version of your lives in India, in abroad, the world around. Now let's see. Thinking beyond the success and creating the impact. Like I said, the legacy that follows. Once you have done all of that, trust me, I don't have to repeat myself. You'll be very successful. You will have all that you need, all that you ever wanted, much, much more than that. You will have everything to cherish and to live by and to talk about and to go and give speeches about. But that's when, don't stop, don't settle. Once you have gotten everything, that's the moment you start giving it out. That's precisely what makes you unforgettable. I want you to think of the impact. I want you to think broader. Each one of us here, everyone who's going to come and deliver a talk, has delivered an impact. They're working on something much bigger than our careers now. We are done. We have built our careers. We are still thriving there. We are striving to build something bigger every day. But what is that we live by? We live by the mission to deliver an impact. It could be small, it could be big. It could be catering to an NGO, or maybe feeding a dog on the street, or maybe helping the girl next door who does not have means to study to provide them with. That's precisely, by the way, what I started with. I was an engineering graduate, had all my PDFs, all my books lying around in the corner of a room, and after COVID, what strikes me is the endless messages, people searching for someone to educate them. Now trust me, even I was in a financial crunch. I had lost everything I had. But I had the power of education. Vidya se badkar koi daan nahi hota, they say. My parents, they are both educationists. And I had that and I started sharing over random emails. I just started emailing all the SM, study material. And trust me, these girls, these boys, young kids, second year, third year people, pursuing their degrees, having really good coach chef ranks and whatnot, who had to drop out of the schools because they lost maybe one or both of their parents and they had no one to sponsor their education anymore, coming back to me and writing, Priya, it is because of your operating system notes that I was able to pass the exam I never studied a class for. That moment made me successful. That impact is what I live by. And it can be really, again, it can be something absolutely unplanned. It can be something that you've never thought of. But if you start with your first step, trust me, there's a trail that follows. And along with me now, many, many regarded people from across the industry, people who are CXO levels, do spare their very valuable time guiding all the young minds with Cuerik that we have. So if you want to, if you have the will, there's a way to go. That's the next thing I want to show. So all that I'm saying is not just mere, I would place it as, it's not something I want to preach. It's not something I want to tell you to do. It's something I want to show you. If you decide, things turn in your way. You get opportunities. There's no one age. You can be 19, you can be 12, you can be 22. I am 26, you can be 52. The moment you start to deliver impact, the moment you start to serve what needs to be served for our nation, for our world, things are going to turn your way and you will have all the opportunities available. and everyone standing along with you will help you place the next foot forward. The next thing that I want you to see is how receptive your government is. So here on the left hand side, here we have the Honorable Governor of Uttarakhand. Who am I, a 26-year-old girl? But it was the intent that mattered. It was the willingness to help countless others to go ahead, deliver something that people are looking for, a help, a call, a guidance, a mentorship. That was rewarded. It wasn't this girl who was rewarded. It wasn't 100 other girls who were rewarded. It was the intent, it was the mission, it was the passion what was getting awarded. So there are people supporting you. This is a live testimony, a proof to when I say that when you take your step forward, there's a trail to follow. But become that person. Take that first step forward. I'm standing here now towards the closing notes. I want you to read this, and I'm going to read this with you as well. I'm standing here today because I did not choose the easy path. And trust me, no one sitting here in the front row going to deliver a talk here or having have gotten delivered here choose an easy path either. We all had our hardships. A different suit of hardships, a different intensity of hardships, some unbelievable days and nights that we have surpassed by. But that is exactly what has made us stand here, being able to come and share our stories on a platform like this. Are you on your feet, on your toes, all ready to just grab that opportunity with both your hands and to make it big and to be the next big name that we hear across? If not, then start getting ready, start working on yourself. And I think with that, I would like to show you all my superhero, the person that is behind all of that. I would like to show you my mom, my dad, and that little me standing here in front of you, and perhaps again in front of you a few years down the line, who knows? But yes, delivering an impact. Every single breath that I pass by, doing something that shows up the path to others and leaves a legacy for everyone to strive and become the best version of themselves. That's it for today. Thank you everyone, and it was an absolute honor.